Now that you've downloaded and installed the Adobe Photoshop app, somewhere on your desktop should be the Photoshop icon. And it'll look like this, the P and the S. Before you click, let me explain that the lesson plan for today is learning about the features in Photoshop's starter page. Hopefully by now you've downloaded the exercise files. It's really important that you download these files and know where they're located. I had suggested that you download them and keep them in an easy accessible folder, like the Downloads folder, or the Documents folder if you're using a Mac, the My Documents folder for Windows users. Click on the Photoshop icon and let's get started with the starter page. The starter page is divided into several sections. On the left side, you have these links: Home, Learn, and all the way down we see buttons, Create New, and Open, all which serve different purposes. Up here you have the Build Your Skills section. These are nice little tutorials that Adobe provides to give hints and strategy. And if you don't want to see this section, you can click on Hide Suggestions. Click Show Suggestions and the section reappears. And that leaves us with the Recent section. And these are thumbnail shortcuts to the recent files I've worked on. You can click on a thumbnail and Photoshop will open that file. I click and it opens. There it is. Let me exit out and return to the startup screen. Using these thumbnails can be a preferred method of opening files rather than having to search for that somewhere in your computer. You have several options for viewing these thumbnails. You can select the List viewpoint, which lines up the files like this, or the Thumbnails viewpoint. I like to view them as thumbnails because the thumbnails are larger and I can clearly see the graphics. You also have the ability to sort the thumbnails using this drop-down menu. In addition to recent, you can sort them by name, size, or kind. But I'm going to leave it as recent, which is the default choice. The recentmost file that was open always appear first, starting on the left side. Now these thumbnails are only good if you did not delete these files or move them from the original place that you saved them. Otherwise, clicking them will not work. It'll just show an alert saying that the file was not found. Finally, there is the What's New section, which displays information about new features of Photoshop as compared to previous versions, which is a pretty useful feature as many people are not aware of new features. Now let's focus on the left side, starting with the Home button. Clicking on the Home link returns the user to the home screen, which is the very screen you're looking at. I'll go ahead and click around here and then click Home and we're back to the beginning. The Learner link is an extension of the Build Your Skills section. It takes you to a page where Photoshop offers additional tutorials. Now I don't mean that these Adobe tutorials will replace my tutorial. I offer a much more in-depth instruction and of course I'm accessible by email. The next link down is called Lightroom Photos, and here is the icon for the Lightroom app, also available for download within the Adobe Creative Cloud website or app. Lightroom is a software used primarily by photographers to make simple edits such as touch-ups, color balance adjustments, fixing those annoying red-eye photos, creating slides, and is great at organizing files. And while Lightroom works hand in hand with Photoshop, Photoshop is a far more robust and powerful software, not only used by photographers, but also by graphic artists, videographers, web designers, and many other creative professionals. I hope to offer Lightroom in the near future, but for now I provided a link on this page if you're interested in finding out more about Lightroom. The cloud link here connects to Adobe's cloud storage servers. I'm going to show you a screenshot of what that page looks like. We'll get into more details about file storage when we study about saving your work. But I will say that the benefit of saving work in the cloud provides an additional backup to just keeping files in your computer or external storage device. While you don't have to use Adobe's cloud services, I recommend some form of cloud storage like Dropbox, iCloud, and Google. Since membership with Adobe allows to have 100 gigabytes of storage space on the cloud, why not use it? Now, moving on to the buttons. The Create New button leads to a section that's an entire lecture on itself, which we'll discuss in the next video. So let's go ahead and click on the Open button, which will launch your file management software. Mac users will launch Finder, while Windows users will launch Explorer. Locate the exercise files and folder 2.3 and click on any one of these graphic icons and it will open up in Photoshop. Easy peasy. Let's close this image document by clicking on the X right here, and now we're back on the starter screen. Notice that image you just opened appears in the Recent section. We've reached the end of this video. Please click on the next video where we'll discuss the important Create New section.